welcome everyone to Mystics Outlook. We got Carter Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And look, for the Mystics, heading into All-Star break, they hold off Jewel Lloyd in the Storm 93-86. Ray, you were in the building for what I'm sure was a very interesting second half after the team goes up by that much and the lead starts to evaporate. So the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, definitely got more interesting than it needed to be, but fortunately the Mystics were able to close it out. Um, Man, the hits just keep on coming. Another injury tonight to Ariel Atkins. She went down, looked like it appeared to be a left ankle injury. Don't know how serious it is yet. Hopefully it's nothing too bad that she's able to miss minimal time, if any. But yeah, man, Mystics they fought out a tough one. They went up by as much as 25, but then Drew Lloyd just me and Wilson was talking before we got on. She just went big game hunting and tried to single-handedly bring the Storm back into it. But the mix was just too much. A whole lot of Brittany Sykes tonight. Man, she during this stretch, she's just been playing amazing. Tiana Hawkins continues her stellar play. Yeah, overall the Mystics they just overwhelmed them, man. Besides that stretch at the end where the Storm just kind of full back into it, Mystics were causing a lot of turnovers, getting out in the open court, finishing, getting easy fast break baskets in the half court. They were executing, creating great looks of penetrating and driving kick, and they were knocking down shots. We talked about that a lot early in the season where the offense just wasn't there and they weren't able to hit from the outside. Now we're on the other side of that, and we'll see what happens when when they're able to connect on those opportunities. So, it's glad that part of it's coming together, but, it just seems like they can't get right, man. The offense starts clicking, and now their biggest offensive weapons go down with injuries. So, I mean, it's just a lot to fight through. But this team is no stranger to adversity. I'm sure they'll be able to weather the storm and still thrive until they get whole again. But, overall, a win is a win. It's always good to put one in the W column, and especially to go into the break on a positive note where they can just kind of regroup and figure things out. So when we see them next week back here at home, they'll be refreshed and ready to go.
Carter?
Yeah, man. Like Ray said, man, they held off. They survived in a sense. A hell of a rally from Drew Lloyd, who seems to love to have these type of games against the Mystics. Typically when one of those defensive aces are out, Cloud or Atkins, she picks on whoever is not guarding her, as far as like who's substituting, replacing one of those ladies. But overall, the Mystics were strong, had home court. Their bench outplayed their bench. Shatori came off the bench and filled, the void of Atkins. Great. She had 16 points, which by herself, she outscored the entire Storm bench. Then when you add in 9 from Lee Ming and, Egbo and Harper, they give you 9. That ended up being a difference despite a monster game from Jewel because they had to give them something because the starters, once Atkins went out, the outside of Sykes, no one could really get going. Sykes and Hawkins, no one could really get going offensively. Obviously Cloud will be rusty. She just came back. Maisha Hines Allen has been up and down trying to get her rhythm all season, man. Plus she had to deal with, Ezzy, which is no walk in the park at all. So I'm just happy that they survived, but they really have to figure out how to stay healthy, man, because the one more body fall, this thing can get ugly. And like you said, these aren't just slight ankle sprains. I just rested for a few days. You'll be back in a couple games. These are weeks. And as soon as you see the ankle roll, she gone for a minute. Now luckily All-Star break is this week, so that kind of lessens the blow for Atkins and Deladon. And, it gives Shakira another week to try to get back from her hamstring injury or whatnot. But they got to figure out a way to stay healthy, man, because, against the top tier teams, they're not as deep as them. And they're about to start coming to town, and they about to start paying them a visit in the second half. They need to be whole, or the Mystics be out there, be at the outside looking in. It's just real talk because there's certain teams in the league that the top 4 or 5 teams and the Mystics are in that conversation right now. The top 4 or 5 teams in the league aren't playing around. You know, you look at the Aces, the Liberty, the Sun, and whatnot. They're not playing games, so uh, you know, Mystics got to find a way to stay healthy, man. They don't have that much room for error.
Yeah, that's the alarming thing, as you guys mentioned. That room for error is dwindling with each injury. All right, so I gotta ask you guys as always, who you guys have for player of the game. Um, Ray, you can start, and then Cardell.
Um, I'm gonna go with Sykes, but Drew Lloyd, man, I'm gonna mention that as much as possible tonight because she went bananas. But Sykes really she led the way for the Mystics, and just the tone she set on both ends. To be perfectly honest, was was kind of what they needed, and just a moment from being in the arena that I really appreciated was like when the Storm were kind of rallying back, going to the bench. Like Sykes was visibly upset, kind of talking to her teammates, like, we gotta finish this game off, and yeah, that's the type of leadership you need, especially in this situation. When your top dogs are down, she's a veteran. She's got to step up and be another voice. So yeah, I'll give her the nod.
Man, I might have to pull a Jerry West, and this is the reason why. Like, you gotta be Drew Lloyd, and here's the reason why. Mystics was up 20. They could have quit. And just be like, hey man, they're already 4-15. They look, we good. And she was like, hell no. She put the team on her back and almost brought them back to get the W. That's a hell of a performance. Like 39, 11 to 22, 9 to 16 from three. Come on, man. Like, and I don't know how many she scored in the fourth, man, but she had the majority of those points. That's crazy, man. And then she's going off, so she had the entire focus of the Mystics team on her, and it still didn't matter, man. For a performance like this, man, they fell short to come back from 20. I gotta give her a props, man, because this should have been a 15-point game, at max. If the Mystics just fell back, got in prevent mode, or so to speak, man. But she made it a game late, and the Mystics had to keep playing. Otherwise, she'd have made sure the Storms got the W, man. So all the respect in the world for you, what she did tonight.
Hey man, Ray, like you mentioned our conversation before things started. It's one thing to go big game hunting. It's another thing to actually go do it. Like 16 of the 22 shots were from deep. She was shooting to kill the entire night. Like, yeah, that's where I'm going with. Like, right, 9 and 16 from three is crazy. When, no disrespect to what's around her, you're not helping off of her for anybody else. 9 and 16. That's why she is who she is, and damn, yeah, X Factor.
Uh, yeah, Shatori. For me, it's Shatori. So, she stepped up, 16. Atkins went down. That was a big blow. 'Cause don't think Jewel ain't see that too. Like, oh yeah, yeah. Let me go ahead and get going real quick. Let me get let me get my stuff going, all that. But Shatori scored just enough to, like, all right, keep them ahead, because if she ain't scored at 16, they lose. It's just as simple as that. So gotta give her props on that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely rolling with Shatori, man, for all the reasons Cardell laid out. They needed them 16 points. Um, and she hit a couple big threes as well, in the midst of Drew's run. So yeah, like it may not seem like a lot to certain people, but yeah, it was imperative that she came and played the way she did. Especially with Ariel going down, or this, we might be singing a different tune right now.
Yeah, me too, or me three, what have you. The bench, Ricardo, you mentioned earlier, Ray, as well. The bench was the difference. While Drew Lloyd went crazy, like, you lost yet another starter. Somebody had to do something. If would they lose by 7? Shatori's score is 8 points. This game's different. Every one of those 16, as you mentioned, right? Not only that, she was 7 and 9 from the floor. She was stupid efficient tonight, and they needed it again. The tough thing going forward is, you're kind of running through your depth with as the injuries are starting to pile up. But they did what we felt they needed to do heading into this game, which was to leave this game with a W. Unfortunately, came at the cost of another injury. We'll see what things look like on the other side of All-Star break. I know they have several home games back to back. But Cardell, you mentioned some of some of those teams in the top four. A couple of them come into the area on the other side of the All-Star break. You got New York coming through. I think their second game back from All-Star break is against the Liberty. And depending on who's available, like that's huge. We don't know who's going to be available. And these
might be hot on or something. I know Mike's a ball. He over there like, dog. I thought I was getting a break. This is more stressful than coaching. Like, what the? He got to earn his money. He got to look because he might need to go get some players.
And we saw that already too. Like they went out and got Queen Egbo already. Like for what they were going through. Like they already went out and got a player. We don't know if it's going to turn into multiple players. We don't know. But
no, I'm talking about like you might have to just get players that might have like got cut.
Oh, the hardship players, yeah.
Yeah, you might just have to fill in because especially like Delanon with her back history and stuff like that. You now it's both ankles. You can't rush her back. Atkins, who knows? Because the way she played, she gotta be fully healthy, or she just gonna keep re-aggravating that joint, and she ain't gonna be no good. Cloud banged up as well. Shatori, hopefully, I mean not Shatori, but Shakira, hopefully she's on her way back. But that's hamstring. That's tricky. That's a tricky injury, man. And the thing is, it's lower extremity stuff. It's not anything else. So something going on. I don't know if it's the trainers or something going on.
All I do know is that at this moment, they're hanging on the fourth by a hair. They're going into the break at fourth, just a half game up on Atlanta, who's been up and down this season as well for different reasons. They haven't had as much as the health issues, but again, just a half game up. So again, speaking to the importance when they get back, and why just their availability is crazy. We don't know what that 3 or 4 game homestand looks like, depending on who's available. And again, as you're running out of as bodies are falling, that means the depth got to step up one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see though. You guys don't have anything else? Ray can let you get out of here, and we'll check back in with y'all after the All-Star break. Thanks for tuning in to Mystics Outlook.